sky is just kicking up like it could fly. Pedal to the metal, making engines scream. Life in the rear view is nothing but failed dreams. Steel beasts come roaring side by side. Thunder rolling through our hearts as beats collide. Tire smoke and engine sounds fill the air. The need for speed has consumed my stare. Racing for the win, chasing those trees. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Chasing glory past these finish lights. Fist pumping, tire burning, donut slaying in the night. Wheels spinning in eternal fight to win. Pedal to the metal and we are all in. Racing demons leaving scars. Chasing down elusive stars. Busting knuckles become more stained dreams. Victory always comes at a price, it seems. Crowds roars echo through the night. Crossing that finish line is always a fight. Time stands still until victory has come. To the night lights as roaring engines come undone. Grit and dust keep us at the edge tonight. Looking for that checkered flag to fly. Racing for the win, chasing those dreams. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Chasing glory past these finish lights. Fist pumping, tire burning, donut slaying in the night. Wheels spinning in eternal fight to win. Pedal to the metal and we are all in. Racing demons leaving scars. Chasing down elusive stars. Racing for the win, chasing those dreams. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Chasing glory past these finish lines. Fist pumping, tire burning, donut slaying in the night. Stars, racing for the win, chasing those dreams. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Chasing glory past these finish lights. Fist pumping, tire burning, donut slaying in the night.
everybody, Patrick here with GoatLocker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour and a half drive. Get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the GoatLocker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his two boys, his wife, and everything. He's gonna get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the GoatLocker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged red glare, the over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Just about 1.5 hours from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we are in Dover, Delaware, getting ready for round 3 of the GoatLocker Racing INVETS Sunday Series. Oh, I'm excited to help everyone bring the action here at Dover Motor Speedway. Alongside myself, Dylan Coyle, I'm with Shane Mundy, DJ Lyon in the production booth, and you're watching it on Maconi Entertainment. Oh, it's Miles the Monster, and Miles is always ready to chew up, spit out, and eat up everything that gets onto its concrete canyons. Take a look at where we are exactly, just in the heart of Delaware, not too far from the Dover Air Force Base. It is Dover Motor Speedway. It's changed a little bit over the years, taken out some stands, but what it has not taken out is its concrete portfolio. It is a difficult track that can be described as a roller coaster. Opened in 1969, 24 degrees of banking and 1 mile exactly in length. It's difficult to make passes happen here, Shane, but when you do, it is for sure a ride.
Oh, this place is definitely a roller coaster of both emotions and of the driving variety. You just come up off these slightly banked straightaways, got them sliding off turn 2 and turn 4. It's always a great show at Dover. Taking a look at the INVETS Trucks Series point standings at the moment. Good old Brett Bieber. We talked about him the last several weeks. He's the points leader. James Kaufman, Gendorian Davis, Benjamin Stevens, and Colton Lampard, the top 5 there right now.
Yeah, so we're 2 weeks in, and obviously it's still early to tell. Once we get through 10 races, that's the regular season. That's a 5-race playoff system. But qualifying has just about wrapped up. Everyone is about to get onto their pace laps here at Dover Motor Speedway in the INVETS Series here. And let's take a look at the grid. Mike George won pole position with Andrew Player right alongside. George won it with a 23.357 in that Ford machine. Jonathan Caulfield and Michael McCarthy in row 2. Johnny Caulfield and Kendorian Davis 5th and 6th and 7th. David Duke, while Tommy Lemley will be alongside him. Charles Abert and Chris Parnance are in your top 10. Michael Klein and Brandon Wallace, your first 6 rows, Shane.
And taking it on down to row 7 is James Kaufman, George Jewell in the 14th position. 33 truck of Tyler Justice in 15th. 16th finds the Toyota of Matt Knight. Colton Lampard in 17th. Scott Gilroy in 18th in the 04 truck. Leading us down to 19th place, Bobby Tremaine in the 13. Jeremiah Holt, 21st. Nicholas Shell. Chance Taylor, 22nd. In the final 2 trucks, Alex Egan and J.J. Moore did not take time here in this qualifying session. Or sorry, we got one more. Doug Ellingson. How that, Doug? You got him down there in P25. He'll be got a tall task ahead of him starting in the back, but crazier things have happened, and you mentioned just how crazy this place is. One play weatherman for us here, Dylan. Look at the bottom left there.
Yeah, 78-degree track or air temperature, 118 track temperature. Real quick, INVETS is founded by veterans for veterans and aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. Of course, the title sponsor of this very series, and we're just about ready to get racing here at Dover Motor Speedway. 1 mile, 100 laps. I'm so excited for this racing action to commence. The pace truck stays on for now. Lights stay on as well. You know, this is the home track, my home track, I should say. Really love getting any series going there. Of course, there are a few penalties. Mike George, Michael McCarthy, Jeremy Gardner, they are getting issued an EOL, penalties from their previous race. They actually changed lines before that start-finish line on restarts at Rockingham. You cannot do that, and pretty much every oval series on a restart, that's pretty substantially a no-no, Shane. But the lights are off on the pace truck. We'll be going green next time by.
Yeah, and I mean, some of those guys, you saw them dropping from pretty high starting spots, especially Mike George. So you hate to have to give up that track position, but definitely can't change the lanes in this league. Every league probably has kind of a different way of doing things, but here in the GoatLocker INVETS Truck Series, can't do that. And I feel like we've seen IRL at times, some Dover restarts can be kind of hairy in terms of penalties, so it's going to be dicey here tonight. I believe the lights are finally out on our pace truck, so I think we're ready to get underway.
Certainly are. That bottom line moved up one row, and that means that we are having two drivers who didn't necessarily know they'd be starting alongside each other on that front row start alongside each other. Andrew Player in the outside. It's Jonathan Cofield on the inside. Oh no, already wrecking it at the start of the race. The drop of the green flag. Caution is out. Didn't even get into quarter number one before we already have mayhem.
Yeah, just literally mere seconds ago, I was talking about how these restarts can get hairy, and something that we'll definitely touch on, especially as we look at the replay of what happened here. There's Dorian Davis, the main truck that went around, the bright teal truck right there, the 51, is that this is a self-cleaning racetrack. If you spin in a corner or even on these straightaways, you're probably going right back down.
So we're going to take a look at the replay here. This is coming out of turn 4. Pace truck goes off, and you know, Dover is a precarious track to try and make any kinds of moves at, but typically we haven't seen restart problems, maybe from spinning the tires late in a race, but it all started
that's exactly what happened
up at the front. And, you know, I was mentioning right before we got to green flag racing here that two drivers that didn't necessarily know they'd be starting up front were starting there. And in the situation, of course, of Cofield, who was starting up front, did not necessarily know that that was going to be the situation. Maybe you're just not mentally in that right spot. He got sent up to that front line as Johnny Cofield, well, look at that. We got Jonathan Cofield in third, and it looks like he was the one that spun the tires in front. Johnny Cofield and Jonathan Cofield. Jonathan's in the 53. Johnny is in the 97. It was the 97 that spun those tires. I'm not sure if the 53 who was in that front row did the same.
Yeah, and when you spin the tires on a restarted Dover especially, I've had the misfortune of both doing it myself and getting caught up in a very similar accident that we just saw at Dover and iRacing. It's often caused by someone just a little too eager to get into the throttle. They'll stab that gas pedal just a little too abruptly, and that'll just really upset the truck.
I'd like to thank Lincoln Tech, by the way, for partnering with us in the INVETS Trucks Series and on Maconi Entertainment. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. Of course, they are the primary title partner of the Fall Series and a very important partner to GoatLocker Racing.
Yeah, they do a lot for this series that couldn't be done without them. Always got to be appreciative of the partners that you have, and they've been a great one here to this series.
Yeah, Dover is, I was going to comment on that aerial shot we have of Dover. You know, Dover is a place, the track also hosts the Firefly Music Festival, usually once every year, and Dover's got a lot of open grass fields that they install stages on, and they'll have a lot of different artists come out. One of the bigger ones in the nation. I've never had the pleasure of being there at one of those events, but I've pretty much been at everything you could do at Dover.
So it's still a neat little fun fact. I mean, I've wanted to head out to Dover for a race for a while. I might try that next year. I've got a bunch of friends that are, some local even, that have been out there the last few years for the Cup race. And it seems like a very fun place to go and watch some racing, or even a music festival, like you said, Dylan.
Well, in the late 90s as well, Dover hosted a couple of races for the IRL, the Indy Racing League, after the split of CART into, well, what was CART and the Indy Racing League. IRL was looking for a bunch of ovals in the U.S. to take its Series 2, and, well, there were 2 races of the IRL Indy cars here at Dover, and you know, we talk about how hard it is to pass in a stock car. It was quite difficult to pass in an Indy car here. So it's definitely a unique track. In recent years, that diamond kind of shape in and out of the corners has taken a pretty big precedent here, where something you just kind of want to throw the car, hit that first apex in turn 1, car kind of goes up to the outside wall, outside line, you bring it back down, try to get a big fast run onto both of these extremely short straightaways. Not much off throttle time and not much time on the straightaways, so you've got to spend some gigantic energy really to get moves done. So we're 5 laps into this race, have not had a green flag lap yet. The pace lights were off on the pace truck. They came back on, and we're going to at least go one more lap here before things get back to going.
Yeah, and wanted to comment really quick. You were talking about, you know, this place in the straightaways and the corners, and, you know, how the diamond line that guys have been taking a lot more lately. One of the most fun things about this track lately has been that, you know, coming off these corners just dead sideways is so much fun in so many cars, but especially the trucks, because they're a little easier to save than maybe, say, a Xfinity Cup car. But just overall, I mean, take a look at this place. There's no other track on the NASCAR circuit, or even otherwise anywhere, that I know of that brings racing like Dover does.
Yeah, it's quite an exciting track to just try and lay laps down. And, you know, after races, some teams will stay at the hotel and casino that is right on the backstretch here. Used to be Dover Downs. Now it's Bali Sports Casino, or at least Bali Casino, I should say. Lights on the pace truck looks like are off. Yes, and we are getting back to racing here, or really starting the racing here with a lot of trucks on the inside line. Back underway, and again, more traction. Just difficulties trying to get going here, but we do get past that front stretch into turn 1. Michael McCarthy, the leader of this race.
Yeah, that was, I thought we were about to see a sequel there to our initial restart. Michael McCarthy had his hands full going through the start-finish line. All good now, and he holds the race lead.
Holds the race lead, gets a little bit high out of corner number 4, but we do make it back to the stripe for one full green flag lap done. Almost 3 wide heading into turn 1. All these drivers trying to get themselves situated in for the long haul here. Kind of like we looked at Rockingham. This is probably, or I shouldn't say Rockingham, I'm thinking Texas. Just looking at another broadcast on Maconi Entertainment in my mind. But when we were there earlier, it was kind of a one-stop strategy until it wasn't due to some of the cautions. This should also be the same deal. One-stop strategy. Around lap 50 is when we will see the bulk, the majority of these drivers go into the pits.
Yeah, just try to split it as 2 separate races almost, but of course cautions falling whenever they will, of course plays a pretty big role in the strategy that people will take, the route that they will go.
Right on board here. Oh, and a caution is out with 91 laps to go, only 10 laps in. Focusing right now. Oh, there's some, oh, and coming right up in front. I wonder if there's some frustration. The 10 and the 58 right there.
Two Army trucks as well. interestingly. Let's take a look here. 10. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not the 51 again. Oh, second time tonight, just involved in somebody else's mistake.
That's quite unfortunate right there. And, oh, man, that's, I mean, the 10 went around pretty hard here, and it was all on its own doing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just overdrives the corner here and maybe bottomed out a little and
oh, no, I wouldn't
got up
say
the track.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think you just come in with a lot more speed than you necessarily expect, go up into another truck, and then you're kind of on your own at that point. Unfortunate, especially for the 51, but some drivers are going to come into the pits, maybe get damage repair or top off. And as a reminder, all these drivers are given one fast repair. So it helps in situations like this early on for drivers to get into the pits, get a clean truck if they need it, but also it makes you race a little bit differently as the race nears its conclusion.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we showed the 51 truck getting involved in their second accident of the night. I believe that's Davis, I believe. Just, you know, mentioned the fast repair. Gotta wonder, second accident, did they use it the first time? Because that truck looks like the nose is still pretty hurt on it.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. I'm surprised there's not a bunch of engine damage, not taking the fast repair right there.
I mean, yeah, that was a pretty hard hit. And, you know, I can't remember exactly how aggressive the contact was in that first accident, but obviously they definitely sustained damage in it. It's just kind of a matter of how this thing's driving right now, or if they've used the fast repair yet.
So, 2 cautions. Everyone still needs to pit again by the end of this race. Now, I will say, in real-world racing, I remember in a conversation with the with last year's number 16 Xfinity Series crew chief, Bruce Schlicker. He told me that the Xfinity Series cars had around 90 miles, 90 laps or so of fuel mileage that they could utilize, depending on, of course, how they drove their race cars. To get to the end of that race, most drivers had to pit with around 10 laps to go, but I believe it was Justin Allgaier who was able to make it last. No, it was Ryan Truex that was able to make it last. Nonetheless, trucks, they don't usually get the same mileage, and at this point, they definitely don't have that availability to make it work. As we see Mike George there, George who, of course, was up front, had to go to the back, that Veterans for Life machine with the above the yellow line contingency right there. Taylor Kitchen, friends with her, good person.
Yeah, she is. She does a great job over there with her show Above the Yellow Line. Great Twitter mutual of mine as well. And one of her, I can't remember who it is exactly on that show, but they pick Tyler Reddick a lot, so they get a lot of points from me.
Easy to pick the driver who won the regular season title.
Maybe not today.
Well,
today wasn't quite the best.
Today wasn't quite the best for most drivers who are in the playoffs. What a weird situation this season.
That just goes to show that weird stuff like that doesn't just happen in iRacing. You'll find it in the real world too. You'll find non-championship contenders, maybe where you don't expect them to be. Racing's a pretty unpredictable deal most of the time, if not all the time. But we're finally getting ready to go back to green. Haven't had a super lengthy green flag run just yet, but it will be Michael McCarthy in the 3 truck leading us to the restart zone.
McCarthy on the inside line will lead us there. Pace truck did peel off. We're in the restart zone. Green flag back in the air for the 3rd time today, and a much cleaner start than we're used to, but a lot of 3-wide racing already in the mid-pack. I wonder if more drivers changed lanes before we got to that stripe and the 22 trying to make it work on the outside. That 10 truck is right there, just coming out of that wreck.
Yeah, that was a very, I don't even know what to call that restart. It was just all over the place. Can't imagine some guys were probably spinning their tires, and we got one spinning into the inside wall.
Stays green.
Right there. We stay green for the moment. Probably will stay green. It's the 58 truck who I believe we saw involved, or nearly involved in an accident just a moment ago, and this time not so lucky. I believe he just lost it off turn 4.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. We're going to get a replay here spooled up in the Maconi Entertainment replay system, and let's watch. So they're going 3 wide. Of course.
Already a risky deal. And if losing it off turn 4 is the outcome here, that is not surprising at all at Dover. This is a very typical situation. He drove it in really deep there, side by side of the 92. So we'll see if there's contact or, nope, got up into the door a little bit.
Yeah, and of course we stayed green. Truck did not go around, but that is some mighty left front damage right there going into pit road. Yeah, that's not a shocker there as McCarthy continues to lead the way just in front of Jonathan Cofield. Yeah, that was
these guys are going after it. It's 82 to go, and they are going all in. McCarthy and Cofield, they're sliding off. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is good stuff. See, this is why I love Dover. It is so much fun. Because I call it a roller coaster at the start of the show because that's what it feels like you're watching sometimes. But the way that these guys are they're all over the place. They're sliding around. It just looks like they're having just the time of their life out there.
Well, another thing is when you go into turn 1 and into turn 3, you kind of drop off. It's almost like a cliff you're falling off into as there's a peak to the inside here into turn 3. The 3 and the 53 going side by side. Cofield on the inside. Pitched up into the wall. They're still connected together. The 53 goes around and more trucks getting involved. Caution is out. Big calamity. And side-by-side racing at Dover typically ends like that on the corners of an exit.
And I'll tell you what, Andrew Player, who did, I believe, squeak by this, he's ruled the leader under the caution, but he had to at least gotten a scratch out of this. We'll take a look at what happened here, because I'm going to tell you what, Dylan, I'm not sure if everybody that's watching or everybody in the booth with me here is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This looked almost to a T, exactly like a wreck that happened back in the, at the time, NASCAR Busch Series between, I believe it was Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. And it happened exactly like this, where they just lock together. Eventually, this 53 goes around, and then they're just hooked together for the entire straightaway. But watch that yellow truck at the bottom here.
Oh, man, great save right there. But, I mean, Dover itself cleans. All trucks go towards the bottom. It's just there's not much room to try and get by when an accident does happen up front. And to me, that's just pretty hard racing between two drivers that didn't want to give an inch to each other. I'm sure both will feel a little bit hard done by that kind of racing, but already caution number 3 right now, and here's another replay here of what goes on, kind of what you see in behind. Boom! I mean, at that point, you got to put on the brakes. You can't throw it in as hard as this truck was doing. Unfortunately, ends with a big hit for the 67 of Chris Parnas. Man, you got to put on the brakes there.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's any consolation here, I guess it would be that I don't believe any of these guys would have used the faster pair yet. I think we'll be able to see them all get back out there, but the downside is for those that involved them, now you're all out there with clean trucks and they can rally up a little bit.
Well, I'll also assume that these two won't necessarily give each other the most space going forward, even though they didn't give each other enough space right in that moment. So all of a sudden, Colton Lanford and that number 25 Diet Mountain Dew machine is up in front. And by the way, we want to talk a little bit about one of our great partners here at the INVETS Trucks Series in jam printing and promotions from Plainfield, Indiana. We are a local, veteran-certified company, and what we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, JAM has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with GoatLocker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. JAM is GLR's go-to promotional company. And if you win the Pole Award here, you get the JAM Printing and Promotions Pole Award.
Yeah, and of course tonight that went to, I would believe Mike George would still get to technically keep the Pole Award, despite getting the EOL. Might not get to enjoy all the, there he is. Might not get to enjoy all the rushes of having the pole and all the advantages, but nonetheless.
The other thing that you kind of do get in any kind of pole position with penalty situation in many racing series is doesn't matter if you get sent back or if you actually start up on the pole, you still win that pole position, and that does give you a bonus point or multiple depending on the series, of course. So it's, you still get that pole award, and in the case of Ross Chastain the other day at Watkins Glen, that the Busch Light car got the Busch Pole Award.
Well, there you go. And we got a little double down on that.
Well, pace truck lights are off. We're going to go back to green flag racing with 75 laps to go, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, where we're getting closer to that stage where on tires it might make sense. As you see McCarthy at the fastest lap of the race, 23.56. It almost starts to make a little bit more sense to go the rest of the way on this set of tires. I think that's the bigger thing. You can get there the rest of the way on fuel, but look at how hot the track is at 119 degrees. It's already concrete, so it's got less grip. Is that a sacrifice you'd be willing to make? This pit road is slow at 35 miles per hour, one of the slowest, if not the slowest, in NASCAR competition. We'll have to see what the strategy is when we get back to green flag racing here with 75 laps to go. Colton Lanford, the leader, gets to that restart zone. Green flag in the air again. They're spinning the tires and lanes are being changed. Oh man, I feel bad for the race control that needs to take a look at all those EOLs that are going to be given next time.
I think it'd be better for us to just every restart to look at the middle of the pack than to follow the leader. I mean, my goodness. Oh man, here we go. Caution is out. I'm not entirely sure what for. Didn't see any incidents, so
I almost wonder if they just did not like that restart specifically.
Wonder if they're putting it out to put some people to the rear.
So there is live race control, 2 race controllers, if you'd like to call them that. I wonder if they saw something they didn't like there, but it is surprising that we went as far as we did on that restart before getting that caution, because it has to have been a manually threaded caution. We'll try and get word on that.
Yeah, it's not like most, an official series race. Say you hopped into, C-Fix, the Maconi C-Fix series or whatever. You're not gonna get, lucky all the time. If you spin out, sometimes iRacing will be like, oh, no caution for you. You're far away enough from the field. Here, these are real people with a real button to push to put the caution out. I believe we'll get word here in a moment. So we did have an accident, actually, that brought this out. The 58 and 13 accident together is what brought out the caution.
So we're going to get a replay here watching both the 58 and 13 trucks, trying to understand exactly what happened. The 13 driven by Bobby Germain, that 58 machine being Doug Ellingson, who started way in the back of the field. They go 3 wide here. Oh, the 58 just turned to the right, slid down into the grass, slid back up. Oh, and a massive hit with that 13 truck. And that was, I mean, hey, Dover self-cleaning, and we saw some hiding under there at the apron.
Yeah, that'll, now the reason we didn't see this is, I mean, this was off that chaotic restart. So, you know, I believe our cameras had already panned over to the leaders heading into, you know, 3 and 4. But, my goodness, definitely some big licks there. I'm not sure, what the truck to the outside of the 58 was doing there. I mean, they flew up there just immediately 3 wide. Not sure, maybe didn't know he was there.
Yeah, that's it's Dover, so that's it's just what happens here at Dover. But it is unfortunate that in this 100-lap race, we already are in caution period number 4. We've seen a lot more pacing around this track than we've seen actual racing, and that's never fun to talk about. As again, we talked about that last pit stop. It almost makes more sense, or it's getting to that point where it makes sense to go into pit road, get tires, get fuel, and that's exactly what Kendorian Davis is doing back here. And if you feel like there's going to be more cautions, it almost makes sense to come into the pits now, and you can kind of conserve those tires. And if you're in the back, just keep topping off. You're fine now to get to the end. And my, oh my, we're also looking at Scott Kilroy's fantastic wrap there. Paint scheme, wrap, whatever you want to call it.
It's got a great spec map on it in iRacing terms. That matte numbered with the matte finish on the black with the glossy O4. That's a beautiful truck. Supporting a bunch of branches of our military, I believe, all over that truck. That is a very sharp ride. And we were showing Kendorian Davis a moment ago. He has had a very eventful race already, being involved in 2 accidents. And I mentioned him because we wondered after accident number 2, there was significant damage to the nose of that Tundra, if they had to use the fast repair from accident 1. Looking at the truck on pit road from that last shot, looked to me like they had to use the fast repair now. So now is when it would be bad to see more damage to the 51 truck.
So pace lights are off on the pace truck, and we should get back to green flag racing here with 70 laps to go. Hopefully we do get back to that semi long green flag run that we did see after caution number 2 or caution number 3. Pace truck is gonna go off track into the pits in the hands of Tommy Lemley, leading this race in the 30. Chose the outside row, or I should say Colton Laneford still leads. It did show Lemley as well in that outside row. We're back to racing, and the inside of row 2 spun the tires. That opens the door up for the 78 to try and get involved for P2.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cleaner restarts we've seen all night tonight. Not too much bobbling around by anybody, and not only is the 78 clear for P2, he wants the race lead.
Top 4 has broken away and already up into position number 3. Who do you know? It's Mike George in that 29. Just got by that Miller Lite machine and now going down the inside of the 25 Diet Mountain Dew truck of Colton Lanford.
Yeah, put who you want to the back, but the fast will find their way back up there eventually, and George is doing just that. It's working on the 25 now, side by side for second. Then we'll have his sights set on David Duke, who has taken over our race lead, as he got about a pretty even gap, just about, throughout at least the top 4.
Get enough cautions, and the drivers who were put to the back suddenly don't have too much to worry about as the race progresses. 67 laps to go here as a bit of a slide from that Diet Mountain Dew Chevy Silverado truck. You saw right there, struggling a little bit with this hot track Right now, remember, 119 degrees, and these trucks are sliding around big time. So the top 4 did break away. Now it's just really a top 2 breakaway with David Duke in the lead of this race. This mid-pack battle, it's pretty aggressive. Truck up into the wall. That's going to open up the door for the 73 machine of Jeremiah Holt to get a run here.
Yeah, that was Klein, and the 20 truck got off turn 4, just scraped the wall, but even that was enough to upset it, enough to slide around a little bit, was able to gather it up, holds on to the 6th spot for now as Justice in the 33 looks for 7th. We just got battles all throughout this racetrack right now. With still 66 laps remaining, now 65.
Well, so far, we've had a few green flag laps here. Good to see. But this battle right now between the 92 truck of Alex Egan and the 3 of McCarthy is pretty solid. Now down the inside, McCarthy having to give up another position. Almost got kind of shut the door up top and see who it is. It's the 53 of Cofield. These two were the reason for the earlier caution, both of them fighting for the lead of this race. They're now both mired a bit in that mid-pack battle. The 20 and the 99 now fighting here. We were talking about the 20 truck just a bit earlier of Klein, the 99 driven by Brandon Wallace. Wallace tries to get to the inside out of turn 4, doesn't have the momentum. Klein pulls just a half truck length more ahead in that short front straightaway.
Yeah, we got, like I said, just battles all throughout the racetrack. Talked about Cofield and the 3 truck. 3 truck had here's the battle for the lead as well. George is here. Oh, a little wobble out of Duke.
Little bit of a wobble into turn 1, lower, hitting the apex is that 29 machine of George. Almost opened up that left rear quarter panel of Duke, going down the back straight. It seems like Duke likes to enter in the corner a little bit higher, diamond it a bit more to get the momentum going down that straightaway, but they're very evenly matched here, George and Duke.
Yeah, George, I definitely feel like is a little bit faster, but Duke is doing a great job keeping him in his rear view mirror. Has not allowed George to get to his inside yet. Despite, he's just opening up enough of a lane for, he's got a little bit of air on his nose underneath the 78, but he's not giving him enough room to get underneath, because should the 29 get to his inside, I would imagine it won't be a very long battle for the lead, but Duke doing a great job so far.
And the other thing to note is that on that wreck at the initial start of the race, Duke had to use his lone fast repair. So we talk about, does it change racing styles? I don't think so, not so much right now. You're in the lead of this race, just barely in front of the 29. You have a feeling, though, if Duke makes one small mistake, leaves just enough to get one truck width down the inside in one of these corners, it opens up the door for George to just put the truck in the right placement. For now, though, this is the perfect defense right here from the 78 machine.
Yeah, George also has plenty of time nonetheless to make the move. I mean, we still have 58 laps to go, which is, it might not sound like a ton, but that's plenty of time to find the right way, time it out. Maybe he could be mapping out the exact way he wants to go about this, kind of like a cat playing with a mouse. He's doing a great job so far, and obviously Duke is holding him off, but for how long will that be? The 25 truck has a lot of company around him here, though, just a little bit farther back.
We talk about a cat playing with a mouse, but this cat has now gotten to alongside the mouse here for saying Duke is the mouse, but just for a very short amount of time back on the defense.
Right
a
on the
contact with the rear. George wants to can open a bit, and there's still just 1-2 running like this. It's great racing right here, but a little too wide out of the gray. Having the momentum here is Duke, though, up high into the wall. George into him. Oh, they're pinballing right here. I think this is George's position to take. P1, Mike George.
Started from the pole, had to drop back to the rear, had an EOL, and has climbed all the way back to P1 with 55 laps remaining. And he timed that move out perfect, and a great effort from the 78 of Duke to try and hold him off. Thought he was maybe going to be able to stay side by side with him a little bit longer, but got a little sideways off turn 2 and might have just brushed the backstretch wall. Got him out of shape enough, and look at the gap that George is already putting between the two now.
Tom and Jerry. Oh, Duke and George. Truck way up into the wall here at the exit of 4. Now this is a hornet's nest.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is where one small wobble has got one already right back there. Maybe not that one, but a small wobble from one maybe in the middle of the pack could really mess some guys up. Got some smoke on the track. I think we just had one locking them up trying to get down to pit road.
Look at this, a move from the 25 of Colton Lanford to try and get moving forward in that Diet Mountain Dew truck. Now the 53 machine, of course, is trying to get back up to where Cofield believes he belongs. Both he and that 3 of McCarthy are starting to slice and dice their way through the field to move back into the top 5, as right in front of the 53, truck hits the wall. Almost makes it easier competition to get around the 33 of Tyler Justice. Going to have the momentum as well. I think this is a move easily made for Cofield. Not cleared yet, but just pinching him down there. Yes, that's another position into 6th place.
That was a great move there. And, you know, those two, the 3 of McCarthy and Cofield, the 53, involved that accident you mentioned earlier. I think I speak for everybody, maybe at least watching, maybe not the guys having to go against them, when I say that it would be very interesting to see what they could do if they could make it back up to the front. Got some almost 3 wide action here a little further back with some the damaged truck of the 97 working on the 18.
Man, that 97 went way too high. Had to get the foot off the throttle. And Johnny Cofield is going to have to just let the 51 get down the inside here through 1 and 2. Kendorian Davis is finally clear, but did not go all the way up. It wasn't clear enough unless you had a human spotter right there. 97 going to try and just slot itself right in behind Davis. That is a move made. Davis gave some more room or more space than he might have wanted. Gets through the 04 machine of Gilroy and continues charging forward. So as this green flag run continues, the 20 and the 78 go side by side here. The 20 makes the move on David Duke. As this race continues, I feel like we're starting to see the cream rise to the top here, even with ELOs, even with all the penalties we saw at the start of the race and the crashes. The 3, speaking about crashes, oh man, that could have been disastrous. Great reaction time from the truck in behind.
And you were talking about, the cream rising to the top. Oh my gosh, these guys are still going at it so quickly before they potentially crash. This battle for 10th. Oh my goodness, they are going to crash.
They are going to crash. How about a save? Oh, what a great save. But
51
Davis.
again.
Oh, Kendorian Davis, and they're still slowing down. I think we're going to stay green right here. That hood is flapping.
Well, we talked about the new damage model a few times here on Maconi Entertainment that the trucks have now, and I don't think, regardless of it being a sim or not, you can't really see when there's a hood in your face.
What happened right behind Davis?
My goodness, I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is Kendorian Davis has had a black cloud over his head all race long. I mean, if there has been an accident, he has been unfortunate enough to pile into it. So let's take a look here.
What's even more amazing is that we stay green here because not one truck spun around. Up in front, we see 2 drivers going side by side. And that was a horrible pinch down onto the apron. I'm not sure who pinched that 36 truck there. It was the 3 of McCarthy. And I'll say that was quite unaware for Michael McCarthy with a truck down the inside to just
and to stack some of these guys. Oh, the 97 actually did a bit of a half spin trying to avoid the 51 truck, who was honestly maybe not. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what was the deal with McCarthy here. Those two were battling, from my vantage point, at least what we were seeing, fairly clean for what was that lap. And next thing you know, he's pinching him down on the apron, and that led to that.
Man, I'm just shocked we stayed green. So anyone who pitted at that last caution is good to the end on fuel. It's really a question of if they're going to make it to the end on tires. And we'll try and get some lap time updates, but I don't feel like there's been too much fall off with all these drivers relative to where they are now.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about how, or at least was trying to talk about how before that incident happened, about how the cream was rising to the top, and my reference to that was going to be you're seeing some guys start to fade in regards to tire wear, and you're seeing some other guys pass those that are falling off because they've managed their tires better. And that's kind of how we've gotten to where we are with, say, race leader Mike George ran down the race leader and passed him just on pace. On board here with Brandon Wallace.
Wallace has, yeah, he's had an interesting race for himself right now, up in 5th. Hey, top 5 is a top 5 day if this is where he can stay.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Got 40 laps to go at the moment. It ran as high as 2nd, as low as 12th, so you kind of find a little bit of a middle ground there just about. In the 5th position, I think he'll take that one. And we're at it again with McCarthy. Been an interesting watch as of late.
Yeah, McCarthy is, ever since that wreck early in the race, battling for the lead. McCarthy, way wide there on the exit of 4, has to give up the position almost. I mean, he's been racing aggressively in this race. The Black Rifle Coffee Company truck is just trying to make it through this race without too many more incidents. And, well, that 30 machine just went on by, missed the corner right there, but keeps on keeping on for Tommy Lemley.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually kind of, I cringed up a little bit when they were going down the backstretch there, because the truck that got involved with McCarthy just moments ago was coming off pit road. I thought maybe we were going to see something, but thankfully they were just blending peacefully back into the racing line. So look at some lap traffic coming up for George. This is the 10 truck, was involved in an accident earlier on, but ever since George was able to get back ahead of Cofield, and even Klein was able to pass Cofield for the 2nd spot, Cofield now back in 3rd. George has just been, oh my goodness. George has been in his own zip code. Not entirely sure why the 10 peeled off so late there. This is a very difficult pit road to get on, but ooh.
This is about the time that we'd expect drivers to go down pit road if they're trying to split this 72 or so lap stint in half, as we see how close it is for this pit entry in front.
Oh, so he dove. Oh, okay. So I'll take that back. He tried to pit at the right spot, but was carrying too much speed onto the apron, so it just drifted right back up onto the banking, and unfortunately for George, almost fell right in his lap. And thankfully, the 10 was able to get right back down. The 29 got high up enough to avoid the accident. The 04 truck going to go a lap down here.
So it is nice that we're starting to see this race kind of play out strategy-wise. Say George, Klein, Cofield. I don't know if that's the way the podium will shake out as this race continues. George right now being chased mightily for this race lead, and I would say that on pace, or I should say the 04 is right behind on those fresh tires, kind of shove the 29 up. On pace, I feel like George, up into the wall, is going to have to think about coming into the pits here, because he is struggling big time. You see a truck that is way faster blow by you, it starts playing a few games, right? You're shadow driving, you're trying to do the same things that drivers in front tend to do. It's hard being in second when you're chasing, but it's also hard when you don't have much of a good reference point in first.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's another thing. That can be both your aid and your downfall. when you base what you're doing on what the truck in front of you is doing. Because if they make a mistake, odds are you might... Oh, George has spun coming onto pit road.
Oh, man.
Oh, but no, on the 33 clips the barrels. And I would assume we'll stay green from that, but... All right, well, we cut to a very interesting moment in this race. Let's take a look at what happened here. Did he hit the apron too soon?
So the 29 comes down to the apron. Everything's going well so far.
Oh!
Cooks it way too much. That's a massive right side damage. And he backs up. Here's my problem. As the 20 slows it down, the 29 needs to wait for all the traffic to go by. This is on him. Obviously, the 33 is coming in with a head of steam as well.
Goodness.
I don't know if the 33 would have made it, even if, the 29 wasn't there. But nonetheless,
Would have had a better chance.
yeah, would have had a much better chance. The 29 needs to not do that. Block pit road's entry. So that's a bigger problem in my eye. That's race over for George to me.
Yeah, and here's the 33. I mean,
unacceptable.
there's nothing you can. So I obviously, there's two sides to this that I want to kind of point out. Obviously, one, race control is going to see this as, this is human error, and that's exactly what this is. But you also have to note that these guys don't have spotters, or at least I would not assume most of them. This is, they're just using the, TJ Majors, whatever, our good old Aussie, British, I'm not even sure his accent, but, our good old generic spotter friend. But these guys, they're not getting yelled at like, hey, there's 2 more coming down pit road, so stay right there, don't roll yet. So he might have just seen, because there was 1 truck between them at the 33 and the 29 that passed before the 29 started to pull out. 29 started to move, 33 was coming in hot. I understand that this will be seen differently, and I would have to assume something will probably come on that, but.
Well, the 29 is back out. Remember, everyone gets 1 fast repair here in this race. So we'll see if there is anything that gets penalized for the next round next Sunday. But for now, 29 trying to make up some ground that George obviously lost from that incident. Andrew Player currently in the lead of this race, but he's going to take his truck down to the apron, had to slow it down a little bit more. We'll see if he's able to get this truck into the pits easily, and that is how you do it here. Maybe even a bit too conservative to get in for that Maconi Setup Shop 18 Ford machine. Now, leader of the race is going to be David Duke in that 78, and David's been up here all day long, all race long. He's been impressive with 25 coming to that to go.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you said, you can either enter pit road way too hot, or you can enter it too easy. You got to find a good middle ground. Duke's going to definitely get past Player as yes, there he is. David Duke, new race leader up at the front. Now, it's of course mainly in part to the mistake by George on pit road, who, without a caution, I can't imagine would be able to make up all that time. I mean, you're sitting still on pit road for that long, regardless of being involved in an accident. That's going to kill you. Still running 4th, which is really a testament to just how fast this 29 has been. But we'll just have to wait and see. Got 24 laps left right now.
So with Duke still in the lead of this race, he's currently in force. What was I saying there? First, and 6.5 seconds ahead of Klein in that 20 machine. The 36 of Joel is in third, 7.2 seconds behind last time by. Now, here's my question, and you don't need to rely on some of our production for this. At what lap did Duke come into the pits, if he did? Because it doesn't look like he did. It looks like he's trying to make this last the entire 70 or so lap run, but I might be wrong in saying that.
We'll get word on that here. I wish I had access to that information, but while we wait on that information, you mentioned George Jewell in the 3rd spot. Looking at the current point standings heading into tonight, is currently the highest in points that in terms of position on the racetrack as well. Came into tonight 6th. in points, and now third on track.
We do have confirmation here that Duke is trying to make it on 78 laps on a set of tires here. It's going to go much slower than the rest of the field. And the other thing we'll have to try and figure out is who did go into the pits. That is, who is the highest driver who had gone into the pits? Because if that is the case, this timing of between 6.5 seconds for second to first, it could change completely. So Mike George, we're hearing, is the highest placed driver in the field who did get a fresh set of Goodyear rubber. So with 20 laps to go, coming to 19 laps to go, look at that gap right there. George 5.5 seconds back. Klein also came into the pits as well. Klein is now, or coming into the pits now, I should say. So my goodness, is George gonna still win this race even with wrecking into the pits? And does that set up any kind of post-race penalty for kind of messing up on pit entry? I don't know.
I mean, that's going to bring up a lot of questions. I mean, we've heard of spin and win. I don't know if we've heard of wreck and take the check, but we'll have to see.
We will certainly have to see with 18 laps coming to 17 laps to go here. And these laps go by quickly. Well under 30-second lap times means that this race should be over if we stay green in around 8 minutes. So is George going to be able to catch up that much? But first, we got to worry about Klein. So Klein did not go into the pits. It did show that he did for a brief moment on our ticker. He continues to stay out in second, and he is so close to overtaking Duke for the lead. This is going to be a cakewalk. It's like taking candy from a baby. The 78 live on TikTok, but the 78 is about to stream itself, getting past here side by side. Race lead, Michael Klein into the top spot. And now this is his race to potentially lose, but Mike George is lurking.
Yeah, Mike George heading into turn 3 now. And Mike Klein made the best work of Duke that he possibly could have, because he definitely didn't need to waste any time being side by side with him. He needed to clear him immediately to give himself the caution. And we got a caution, so throw it all out the window. This changes everything.
Yes, this absolutely does. Caution out on the track, and it's going into 3. We've now seen McCarthy go a lap down in 12th, so 11 drivers on the lead lap. McCarthy also just came back onto the lead lap. It showed on our ticker 11 or 12 drivers on that lead lap. The 58 went down pit road. That's Doug Ellingson. But we're focusing a lot on the 10 truck of Jim Kaufman, who has had an eventful night. Still trying to find it. Here's the replay of what happened here.
Oh,
not again.
Got a bit of a tap in. Oh boy. Well,
that's not McCarthy's fault. Oh, no. Save it. Oh,
oof.
You could have saved
another
that
thing
so
about
many times.
that's another thing about it being self-cleaning is it's even when you're at a slow speed, it tries to throw you down to the bottom. And I mean, he was sideways, slowing down probably the whole time, and it still was nearly spinning out. Finally lost it, hit the inside wall, and they threw a caution. I mean, he just got booted by the 99.
Yeah,
and he actually had it saved for a moment there, and then
you know what?
Lost it again.
I want to see another replay of that on board, and if we
could we get a look at the hands?
well, it's more the listening, because I think there was a downshift there. Yep. There was a downshift, and I could see the truck kind of jolt. A downshift, and could not control the wheel spin that came from being in a different gear, and obviously that's what happened. So we're back to live pictures here. 12 laps to go, coming around this time by. Some trucks deciding to go into the pit, some not. Here's the big thing. I think Klein stayed out. If that is the case, he's a sitting duck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well,
maybe. But yeah, so George stayed out as well. So the trucks in between first and second place were lapped vehicles. Some went into the pits, some did not. Here's the big thing that matters. 11 drivers were on the lead lap. If you are drivers in sixth on back, to me, it makes a lot of sense to get tires, not really fuel, but might as well, but to get fresh tires and gear up for a run to the finish. But if you're in the first 5 spots, you're in a weird and uncomfortable position. This is going to be quite entertaining how this race continues on, and my goodness.
I mean, I don't even know the right words. We've seen so many just chaotic restarts outright. I mean, just every restart we've seen guys spin the tires, and even on fresh tires that's happened. So I'm a little anxious to see what happens to the 20 when he gets into the gas here. When we finally go back to green, it'll probably be about 10 to go or just under it. But my goodness, this caution has really set us up for a potentially dramatic finish.
This is, I mean, this entire race has been quite fascinating, seeing how it's played out. Obviously, it was a bit frustrating in the beginning, seeing all the cautions kind of negating the flow of this race, but we did have that long green flag period. That is certainly nice. How about Nicholas Schell? We haven't mentioned him once in this broadcast. Lowest position was 23rd, but currently he is at his high point of the race. The Texan in that Chevy Silverado machine currently in 4th place, and I'm sure that he stayed out. We'll see who has the fresher tires. We're going to go green flag racing with 10 laps to go, 10 miles to the line. We'll see if we can get all the way back around 10 times while under green flag conditions. But I have a little birdie on my shoulder saying that's probably not going to be how it goes here once that pace truck goes off and the lights. Oh man, they're already off, but I feel like it's gonna have to come back out again.
Yeah, I hope that our pace truck driver isn't sleepy, because they might have to get right back behind the wheel. Can't hop out of that thing yet.
Might have to do exactly that. Klein to the restart. Green flag. George up into the wall on the restart, and he gets spun over across the start-finish line. Caution is back out. That is what we call race over for George into the inside pit wall. Oh man, you have older tires sometimes getting involved and mixed up with fresher tires. George didn't have the oldest, but it wasn't as new as the rest in behind. We've seen it be a problem all night.
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, just immediately. Mentioned it earlier how oftentimes at Dover, the wrecks you see on restarts that are, related to wheel spin are because you're getting into the throttle too quickly. There's a way to restart it, and that's just kind of easing into the gas. You obviously want to get up to speed, but you don't just slam your foot down on the gas pedal, because that's what's going to happen. We talked about the pace truck driver not being done yet. He didn't even get to put it in park. Look at him back there. He's just going to have to drive the thing right back out.
Oh, man. I mean, that's just that's a self-cleaning accident on the 29's part. What an up-and-down day it's been for Mike George. Got the pole and went to the back on that EOL. Here's another replay we're seeing here. That Black Rifle coffee machine,
and
doesn't know whether to throttle it up or not. A tiny tap right there. The 64 got hit twice by George in that 29. That's Matt Knighties, and
got the good old trash panda on the back there.
Well, with the trucks pacing around with 8 to go under caution, we're going to throw it to one commercial break before getting back for the finish at Dover Motor Speedway.
Hey everybody, Patrick here with GoatLocker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour and a half drive. get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the GoatLocker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his two boys, his wife, and everything. He's gonna get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the GoatLocker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
Well, we're back with 7 laps to go under caution. Pace Trucks lights are still on. I believe we'll get back to green flag racing with around 5 laps to go here in the GoatLocker Racing INVETS Trucks Series on Maconi Entertainment across multiple platforms. Happy that you are tuning in and watching it with us. Dylan Coyle, Shane Mundy with DJ Lyon in the production studio, making it all happen behind the scenes. Dover has showed us its fair share of monstrous moments, and we've just had another big one with the, I would say, the race favorite as it's gone on, Mike George, have another issue and pretty much take him out of contention.
Well, we assumed it was going to happen, maybe not that quickly. I'll tell you what, though. Our race leader probably doesn't mind it too much. I mean, had the most dominant truck of the race right on his outside, and he's out there on what I would assume now is the oldest tires of anybody, so it's still a tall task, but I would be breathing a little bit easier knowing it isn't the Mike George to my outside.
Lights are off, by the way, so we'll be going back to green flag racing undoubtedly with 5 laps to go. The real question is, are we going to make it 5 laps under green? We did get a lot of laps in the middle portion of this race, but obviously cautions breed cautions, and other famous broadcast sayings of a NASCAR race or NASCAR Series related race. And oh boy, the aggression levels, well, they're going to go up for sure here at Dover, Shane.
Oh boy. I mean, I just don't even know. This has been as unpredictable as any race we've called here on Maconi Entertainment for any type of racing. So I don't think I should try to not be as surprised by most outcomes anymore. But it just never fails. But I think we're in for a good one nonetheless.
Gonna be in for a good finish here at the Monster Mile. 5 laps to go when we get the green flag in the 20 machine. Michael Klein will take us to the stripe under green. Restart flag is in the air. It's a clean restart this time. Klein will dive into turn 1 with the race lead. On the outside, the 14 trying to make it work, but it's David Duke down the inside who gets position number 2. Not clear yet, so they're gonna have to fight here in the 3.
This is what Michael Klein likes to see out the rearview mirrors. These guys battling. It's not going to be a very long battle, though. The 78 is clear, and you can already see the speed difference. It's a 20, a big slide off board. Able to collect it. The 78 is going to try the top side.
4 laps to go. Duke, all the speed in the world, tries to take the momentum, pinch down to the bottom on the exit of turn 2. I think this is David Duke's move, his momentum that will take him. The 20 gets a little bit squirrely. The 78 shoved up high, but takes the race lead away and will lead it coming to the line with 3 laps to go.
The 99 into the picture as well. Wasn't able to get to the inside of Duke just yet. Oh, he's going to turn him around.
The 99 spins the 20 machine, and Klein, who is just in the lead of this race, now is in the back of that leader pack, and the caution comes out once again. Duke saying, "Are you kidding me? I was long gone." Gonna have to re-rack them all again for a green, white, checkered, the first of 3.
My goodness, I mean, first of all, the move for the lead was crazy, but let's take a look at this The 99 had a bit of a peak there to the inside. Duke just washes up. Obviously, I don't think there was any malintent there. It's go time. I mean, we are so late into this race. You shouldn't lift right there.
I mean, you shouldn't lift. Let's watch on board.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of time to react either. Just kind of came right up. They're carrying so much speed. We saw, our now race leader, just the 78 just flying around the outside. I mean, just looked like a missile. And that is the difference in tires that we saw right there. The 78 just got to the outside, and it looked like they had a whole different engine in their car by comparison. And the 99 was doing a similar deal, and the 20 just wrong place, wrong time, and got run over, no doubt. But I just can't see where that was intentional.
Well, I don't see it being intentional either. I think it's also the result of some fast, hard racing, and Klein did not have the freshest tires, so that's probably the reason for the lift. Felt that he was sliding up into the middle groove, and obviously that happens here. But when we do get to more green flag racing, it's only going to be 2 laps to go in the INVETS Trucks Series at Dover. We have 3 available green-white checkers. Don't call it overtime.
All right, well, making a mental note here. Don't call it overtime when in the booth with Dylan. Got it.
Well, I'm only not calling it overtime because they don't call it overtime.
Oh, boy.
The lights are still on.
I'm with them, though. I don't want to call it overtime either. It's green-white checker. So.
I also want to throw it back to calling this Dover International Speedway.
No, don't push your luck now.
I'm pushing it a little bit. Just a tad.
All right. Well, we're going to re-rack them here and do this again. Do you have the, you think you got it in you to call one more of these restarts?
Well, I feel like we've gotten so much practice at these restart calls that we just don't know what to say now as we get the PD check.
Yeah. My trash panda on my Virginian representative here. Mentioned this last week. Y'all were gassing up your guys. I gotta give my weekly shout out to Matt Knight, running the 11th position right now. Maybe hold on, get a top 10 for the old PD powered Tundra. I mean, how can you look at that? How can you look at that truck bed and not just love that?
So a quick correction of what I said in GoatLocker Series. Only 2 green-white checkered attempts are used, not 3, as race control is letting us know. So this is going to be the first of a potential 2 green-white checkers in this race at Dover. David Duke, as the lights are off on the pace truck, will lead the way, and the 99 alongside is going to try and get a good run here. But what we've seen in recent restarts is that the truck on the outside of the first row is not usually in second place come this run down the backstretch. Typically, it's the truck on the inside of row 2. In this case, it is Chance Taylor in that blue 14 truck. And the 99 is Brandon Wallace, who has had an up and down day, and Wallace is finally up at the front with a chance to win. But is anyone going to have the power to beat David Duke? McCarthy back up there. The 36 of George Jewell is in there. The 22 of Nicholas Schell might have something to say about it in 5th place. All I know are that things are about to get quite interesting. Barney with the green flag in hand. Restart, we're back underway, and it's a pretty clean restart up at front. Duke got off to a great jump, and the 99 was not caught sleeping, but Taylor was. Duke away.
Yeah, Wallace able to just keep him at arm's length, but Duke is pulling away. 99's going to have a heck of a next about, gosh, just full lap here because it's time. The white flag is out at Dover for David Duke.
It's going to have to be a perfect final lap for the 99. Next flag is the checkered flag. Duke takes that middle groove through the middle of 1 and 2, has more than a few truck lengths between he and the 99 of Brandon Wallace. You know, David Duke, he's been all through the field tonight, but he's going to be the one to hold the checkered flag. It's waving. It's the 78 machines to take. And they're wrecking as they come across the stripe. 20 machine into the outside wall. Another
Power Tundra into
to
the wall hard.
inside wall. And that is chaos to end the race. Jewel will complete the podium. Taylor and the 3 machine of Michael McCarthy is in the top 5.
Well, that about summed it up. This was a chaotic but very fun night. And now David Duke. There's plenty of rubber out here already, but he might sling some more onto it.
My goodness. Duke is going to take his Chevy Silverado, and right now he's just sitting on that stripe before he rolls it just ahead. We'll see.
Thinking about it, he's teasing us.
He's just trying to put on a good show. We've got some flames from
There's it.
Yep.
Yep. Do you think the burnout is as fast as Xfinity finish line? Do they offer finish lines? It looks like it.
It's as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Get it?
Ah, well, Xfinity finish line right there.
Hey, listen, I'm a PR rep in the Xfinity series. I better know what the saying is. Oh. My goodness. Well, we're going to take a brief break to show some words from our sponsors, but burning it down, it's David Duke, winner here at Dover Motor Speedway. Stay tuned.
You want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hey everybody, Patrick here with GoatLocker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour-and-a-half drive. Get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the GoatLocker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his 2 boys, his wife, and everything. He's going to get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the GoatLocker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Dover Motor Speedway, you look beautiful, and David Duke is definitely feeling that way after winning that race. Took the lead with just a few laps to go before we started the caution parade at the end of it, but survived those overtime restarts, made some fantastic moves to end it, and now we've got the full results here. Duke wins by 6/10 over Brandon Wallace. George Jewell completes the podium. We'll talk to all three of them in just a few moments. Chance Taylor and Michael McCarthy, who will get the top five. And I'm shocked that McCarthy was able to end the day on a really positive note. It was up and down all day. Colton Lanford, Nicholas Schell, Andrew Player, Michael Klein, who was in contention to win it late, finishes in 9th, and Johnny Cofield finishes in 10th. Shane.
Yeah, moving on down the leaderboard here to 11th, Scott Gilroy. Matt Knights ended up 12th there, was part of that last lap accident, as well as Jonathan Cofield in 13th, had a very up and down race. Tommy Lemley. Mike George ends up 15th, not even on the lead lap after all that. Tyler Justice, Jeremiah Holt, Charles Abbott, James Kaufman, Kendorian Davis, I believe, the first DNF. Going down to the rest with Doug Ellingson, Alex Egan, Bobby Germain, Chris Parnas, 21st through 24th, and round out the field 25th is JJ Moore.
Well, we promised that we would talk to our top three finishers, and who better to start with than David Duke, who finished on the top step of this three-man podium here at Dover Motor Speedway. David, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, gentlemen. How are we tonight?
Oh, doing very well. I'm sure not better than you, who survived all of that late race chaos to get to do the burnouts and hit your left rear fender up against the outside wall. You trying to hide anything in post-race tech?
You know, if they're going to look at it, we might as well give them something to look at, right?
I love that ideology. Hey, good job. Congrats on the win, man. Just take us through those last couple of laps, the restart, the final restart. You kind of blew by. You got a really good jump, but it was that move earlier on the 20 that really put you in position to win it.
Yeah, we're running out of time there, and the cautions being such long cycles here, I didn't know how much time we had left, you know, with you know, the laps winding down. So I had to ship it there on the outside. We got a little bit of contact there. I don't know if it was net code or if I got into him, but we made a little bit of contact coming out of two there, and I wound up finally clearing him. But I was shocked that they didn't come in and take any tires there with that caution with about 10 to go. I had a terrible start to that race. I was a lap down, one lap into the race with a burned up fast repair, and I forgot to uncheck a set of tires. So I was only operating the whole race under two sets of tires. Took fuel there in the middle, and I short pitted at the very end to take some tires there and try to run it to the end. And then the caution come out late, and I was able to capitalize and come down pit road and get a fresh set of my last set of tires with 10 to go.
So pretty much the cautions just played out perfectly for you at the end there.
Yes, absolutely. As soon as he took the lead there in the middle, I think with on about lap 80, I think somewhere around lap 80, he got back around me after it had all worked itself out, which, by the way, I even looped myself getting on a pit road in the middle of that green flag stop. I wrecked getting on a pit road and collected it. I have no idea how I wound up back to where I was, but here we are talking, and I'll take it.
All right, David. Hey, I'll give you the stand to thank anyone you want to thank. Give some shout outs here before we let you go.
Yeah, I got a minute, man. I got to thank you guys in Maconi for hosting this for us and broadcasting it. We greatly appreciate it. All the guys over here at GoatLocker, it's a pleasure to race with these guys that are real life heroes and represent them and race around them. So it's awesome that I've been invited in here, and it's just so fun to race with these guys. Everybody over at High Velocity Sim Racing, Scotty Gilroy, Charles Averitt, Alex Egan, all those guys. Fun to race with. Alexander's PC, Indiana Department of Affairs, Cruisin Classics, Nancy Sports Bar, Veterans for Life Foundation. Everybody that makes all this stuff possible. For me, myself, and I, personally, KeithSaysYes.com. If you need a newer used car, you can save $1,000 if you mention Big Duke Stream. KeithSaysYes.com. Delivers nationwide. Picks up your trade, too. MVV Travel Co. My wife's a travel agent. If you need any travel book, go to mvvtravelco.com. And several other places that hopefully I'm going to get to mention some more on some other races.
Awesome, David. Well, hey, congratulations here at Dover, and we'll see what happens the rest of the season here for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, fellas.
Of course. That's David Duke winning it here at Dover Motor Speedway. Shane, you're going to be talking about Brandon Wallace and George Jewell. Brandon Wallace finishing in P2 in this one. Solid run for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Wallace bringing it home in P2. We saw you there late, finally breaking through to second. Did you need to get clear to second quicker? Do you think you had anything for our winner there in
No, I got a good start. We left about a millisecond apart, and I thought about leaving in first and trying to get a good run, and I timed it right, but he just had to run on the bottom the shortest way around, and he laid his fastest lap of the race down on the last one. So I just, I needed a few laps to get going to get everything comfortable and make some time, but I didn't have, 2 laps to go, we didn't have it.
Well, you still brought it home. P2 is very eventful race. Was there anything particularly tonight that your truck struggled with, or do you think did better than others?
I don't know. I was really hard on the tires versus my teammates, and that one pit stop I was at like 33%, and they were at like 66. So I was really burning down the fronts hard, and I was rolling it too fast and hard and pushing too much, I think. And so I just needed, usually I'm better fuel saver and tire saver, not a raw speed guy, but I had tires and I got on the outside of the 20 there, and he blinked kind of right as I got on the outside of him, and I rolled in the corner, and I kind of did the same thing to the 3. It was just I was rolling high, and they drifted up, and we just kind of came together, and I hated that for both of them. I apologize to them because I'm not trying to rough anybody up. I was trying to go high and dive back down low with the run, but the timing, they came up, and as I was right there, and we just hit. So,
well, nonetheless, great points night for you, great finish. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, of course. Daniel Krikio, the admins, him and Mike George. Daniel's doing race control, and he's doing a fantastic job. But I don't think he gets near enough credit. So kudos to him and all the guys at GLR, and of course all the sponsors. They couldn't do it without it. It's a big deal, and I don't want to have to read all of them. But Lincoln Tech and Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, INVETS, Jam Printing and Promotion. Of course, you guys for broadcasting at Maconi, we appreciate it. I've got one earphone in as I'm driving. I'm listening to the broadcast, so I know what's going on throughout the broadcast. So I look kind of silly, but I'm doing it anyway.
Well, we appreciate it nonetheless, Mr. Wallace, and thank you for taking time and talking with us. Congrats on a great run tonight.
Thank you, guys. Great show.
All right, that's Brandon Wallace. Brandon had a solid run here tonight. And sitting alongside you, Shane, is George Jewell in P3.
Yeah, P3 tonight for George Jewell. George came into tonight tied for 6th in the point standings with David Duke. So great podium finish for you that will help you in the championship fight. How was it out there tonight? Was it did you expect 3rd? Did you expect a little more, maybe less?
Probably a little less. If that caution wouldn't have come out where I had to pit at the end and everything, I was falling pretty heavy because I raced those tires just to try to get back because I knew they had to pit too. But it was a battleground out there. It was pretty tough and still enjoyable. I'm happy with 3rd.
Obviously, big topic of our broadcast tonight were just how chaotic the restarts were. Things seemed to kind of calm down a bit as the runs would go on, people would spread out. Just how intense were the restarts tonight?
They were pretty heavy. I'd seen a lot of them, me including myself and everything, once we hit the gas and everything, it wanted to kind of break. So you kind of had to feather it. But yeah, there was a lot of problems with some of that. And once they spaced out a little bit more, I think it was, they gave more room. And once we got going, it was a lot better for sure.
All right, George, anybody you'd like to thank, give a shout out to before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to GoatLocker, INVETS Trucks Series. Thank you for sponsoring that. Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation for being on the car, and Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchens. Everybody got to go check that out. And Maconi Setup Shop, Maconi Entertainment, my wife, and everybody that's watching and puts up with me, and BCI Communications, iRacing. That's about all I got right now, but I know there's a lot more, and we appreciate all the sponsors.
Well, we appreciate you for taking time to talk to us tonight. You had a great run tonight. Congrats on that, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. You guys have a good night.
You do the same.
All right, that is our podium finishers here at Dover Motor Speedway. Fantastic race, and we've got a really interesting show next Sunday night. It's at the Indianapolis Oval. We really don't see the trucks at the Oval. I don't know if we've ever had the trucks go to the Indy Oval here in real-world competition, but guess what? It's iRacing. We get to make the rules and make it as we see fit. I'm excited to see these trucks here on this 2.5-mile course.
Oh gosh, absolutely. This is such a cool concept trucks at Indy. I would like to see this IRL, so it'll be really great to call it next week with you here on Maconi Entertainment. And I think it's going to be a great race, and we'll see. I mean, most of these guys probably haven't even driven a truck on Indy before, so it'll be a first for everyone.
Don't forget that the Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment are the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service, and subscriptions are available for as low as $8 per month. It's the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the official series sponsor of the NASCAR C-Fixed Series. You've obviously been watching this all on Maconi Entertainment platforms. We'd like to give a special shout out again to INVETS, the title partner of the Sunday Truck Series, Lincoln Tech, the title sponsor of the Fall Series, and Jam Printing and Promotions, the Pole Award promoter here at GLR. For myself, Dylan Coyle, Shane Mundy alongside me, and DJ Lyon in the production booth, it has been a fantastic race here at Dover Motor Speedway. David Duke brings that 78 machine across the stripe, grabs the checkered flag, and we will see you next time at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.